Welcome back, baseball fans, to the All-Star Game, the 1972-75 All-Star Game. This year being held in Atlanta as we pick the year of the first year of the timeline. So in 72, the game was in Atlanta. Last year's All-Star Game was a reprise of that classic in Detroit, one of the greatest All-Star games there ever was. But we're in Atlanta this year. And I have the box of the 72 game. There are some players, obviously, some are coming and some are going. Some consistent ones, some not. For instance, Carew is in our game. Reggie's in our game. Johnny Bench is. Willie Stargell is. But a lot of these other legends kind of slumped a little bit this year and didn't make the team, which was a shame. The score of that game was 4-3 in extra innings, and the winning play in that was a single by Joe Morgan in the bottom of the 10th off of Dave McNally. Nate Colbert walked, Chris Spire bunted him to second, and Joe Morgan knocked him in with a single. Colbert's in the All-Star game. The other two guys aren't. But Colbert's here. Maybe he'll score the winning run again. Here's our box. It looks a little different than the other boxes you see normally in my regular games, just to make room for all the players. So you have the nine starters and then 7 reserves, 9 pitchers for each team. The pitchers are Catfish Hunter and Steve Carlton, and Catfish Hunter had gone 8-0 in 67 innings for the All-Star break. And in the case of Carlton, he was 7-2 with a 2.81 ERA and 77 innings before the break. So we have, I guess the idea is that traditional All-Star games, they like to go with the fan favorites and the fan vote, and I understand that, but because there's no such thing like that in this league, I just do it by statistics. And so you can check out the selection show if you haven't already to see some of the interesting newcomers. Guys who've never ever even been to an All-Star game are going to be here today, along with the traditional All-Stars and Hall of Famers, as they always put up good numbers year in and year out. So let's get started. We are what game number? Yeah, it's the All-Star game. There's no game number. I put the Atlanta logo there for the National League because it's in their stadium. And we'll spin the old tumblers, recalculate that. Steve Carlton's done his warm-ups. He's ready to go. The starters may go 2, maybe 3 innings. They used to do that back in the day. And I got to make sure I leave one pitcher in case it goes extra innings, yada, yada, yada. Let's get started. Carlton's ready. Leading off for the American League, the sole representative of the California Angels, Mickey Rivers. 68 off Carlton is a pop to second base. Let me just go through the lineup while we're here, because the American League, believe it or not, has loaded up with lefties who actually can hit left-handed pitchers fine. Rivers will lead off in center. Batting second from the Twins, second baseman Rod Carew. Batting third from the Royals, third baseman George Brett. Batting fourth from Oakland, the right fielder Reggie Jackson. Then batting fifth, the first right-handed batter, the designated hitter Willie Horton. Batting sixth, first baseman John Mayberry. Batting seventh, left fielder Lou Piniella. Batting eighth, making his first ever All-Star appearance, which I think is pretty cool, is John Ellis, guy who played for Texas and Cleveland during the 1970s as a utility catcher. But he led all catchers in hitting at the break, batting average. And batting ninth, the shortstop is Toby Hare. And we'll just announce the reserves when they get into the game. So Rivers pops out. Now it'll be Rod Carew. 56 for Carew is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's George Brett. 34 is a pop to third base. Bottom of the first. Catfish Hunter. In line for the Cy Young Award. His team is in line to compete for the World Series trophy, and he'd like to get all of that. Have his cake and eat it too. 8-0 start. I'll go through the National League starting lineup. Leading off will be center fielder Reggie Smith, playing slightly out of position there. Batting second, first baseman Al Oliver. I could have put him in center, but Reggie Smith's got a better arm. Batting third, Roberto Clemente in right field. Batting fourth, doing the catching, of course, is Johnny Bench. Batting fifth, and the third Pirate in the top five. Remember, the Pirates won the World Series, so they're being managed by Danny Murtaugh. Willie Stargell bats fifth at DH. Batting sixth, Chicago Cub left fielder Billy Williams. Batting seventh, Dave Concepcion. And if you notice the trend here, folks, every single one of these players is from the National League Central. Cardinals, Pirates, Reds, and Cubs. The first 7 guys. Batting eighth, second baseman is Dave Roberts from the San Diego Padres, making his first and probably only All-Star start with his best season. And batting ninth, the third baseman, Don Money. He is money with a glove. He's a 1/3 baseman. And he's on the Colorado Rockies, but his stats, of course, were with the Milwaukee Brewers. So, Reggie Smith, here's the pitch to Reggie. 1-4, flies to right. Al Oliver, 33, pops to first. And Roberto Clemente, 46, off a Cabbage Hunter, pops out. No surprise there. Nobody has reached base. Top of 2, it's Reggie. 312 for Reggie. Strikeout plus injury. How about that? You don't get injuries in the All-Star game very often, but fortunately, we got a ton of guys. We could put Jeff Burrows there, Mike Lum there, Kenny Singleton there. We got 3 of them. Let's go with Burrows to finish the game in that spot. He would have come in like midway through. That's a shame. So Reggie, the star of the Major League Baseball's 71 All-Star game in Detroit with that prodigious home run, suffers an injury here. And we'll just plug Burrows into his position and spot in the lineup next time up. Not much offense, not looking good early here, folks. All right, here's number 5 hitter Willie Horton. 66 is a strikeout. And John Mayberry. 410, third X. The third baseman is Don Money, who's a 1E8. I guess Carlton doesn't have Larry Bow behind him, but he does know that he has Don Money behind him, and he is money in the field. He makes the play. I think if you get 6 straight outs, we'll let you go a third inning. That'll be my rule. Otherwise, we'll just give you the starters too. So Catfish has to match, and it'll be difficult to match. You got Bench, Stargell, and Billy Williams. My goodness. Pitch to Johnny Bench. 48, lines a third. Willie Stargell. 38, single 1-2-8, lines out on a 16. And with 2 outs, it's Billy Williams. 2-5, grounds to second base. Well, we're going right into the third inning without making any moves. See if you can go 9 up and 9 down. It'll be Lou Piniella, who is leading the American League in hitting with a .380 batting average. 39 for Lou Piniella, flies to left. And here he is, number 8 hitter, John Ellis. Let's take a look at this card. We're going to have to start looking at cards at a certain point. Ellis, the reason I like doing this, putting him in the All-Star game, is several years ago, he was at the All-Star break hitting .360, and I snubbed him. I didn't invite him to the All-Star game because we had Carlton Fisk, Thurman Munson, and Gene Tennis. Well, those first 2 guys are in terrible slumps this year. Ellis is hitting .320 again. So, yeah, this card is a .294 hitting card for the Yankees in 72. Isn't that funny? Thurman Munson's team. So I guess, yeah, in a sly kind of way, the Yankee catcher is in the All-Star game. So here is the pitch to John Ellis. 67, another strikeout. And the number 9 hitter, Toby Harrah. 66, a strikeout. Wow. 9 up and down for lefty. And now Catfish goes out there. It'll be Dave Concepcion. 6-12 rolls back to the mound. Dave Roberts. 3-10 flies to left. And with 2 outs, it is Don Money. 111 grounds to short. Well, maybe it's one of those games that has an early start and the shadows are on the field. The pitcher is in the sunlight on the pitcher's mound, and the batter's box is in the shade, and they're having a tough time picking up the ball there. So, 18 up and down, but it's time to move through the pitching here. And Jim Lonborg will come in. Jim was a Brewer in 72 with a 2.83 ERA and 223 innings. He got drafted into the Las Vegas expansion team, and he is leading the National League in ERA presently for the Las Vegas expansion team. So big moment for Jim. As we go to the top of the 4th, we'll go through this lineup again, or at least most of it. And here's Mickey Rivers. See if a right-hander will give him better success. 54 off Lonborg is a pop to first. Rod Carew. 34 rolls back to the mound. And George Brett. 4-4, we have maybe a hit. Homer, 1-9, fly ball to rest, and it's gone! George Brett, the first hit of the game, the first run of the game. A solo homer off the Lonborg card, and it's 1-0 American League. Brett, of course, wouldn't have been in the 72 All-Star game, right? He doesn't make it into the majors until 73-4. So that's the fun of a carryover league, mixing the players from the beginning of the timeline and the end of the timeline. All right, now it's Jeff Burrows. Would have been Reggie. He got hurt, so Burrows is up. Jeff Burrows, 48 off Lonborg, is a strikeout. All right. Bottom of the 4th. Catfish will also leave after 3 innings. And we'll go to Gaylord Perry. Perry is the ace of the Cleveland Indians. 24-game winner in 72. Cleveland is disappointing. Gaylord is not, but his team is. Under 500. Disappointing year for the Indians. And we'll be back at the top of the lineup. It'll be in the top of the 4th, at top of the lineup again. It'll be Reggie Smith for the National League. 57 is a strikeout. Al Oliver, 310, flies to right. And Roberto Clemente. 1-8 is a roller to shortstop. What a crazy start. 1 run and 24 outs. 1 for 24. We'll go to the 5th. We have plenty of pitchers that need to get into this thing, so we'll go to John Monofusco in the 5th. Monofusco, his rookie year in 75 for the Giants is outstanding. I think it was rookie of the year. 15-9, 288 ERA, 244 innings. And he is leading the Giants to the top of the National League West. Good start for Monofusco and the Giants. He will face number 5 hitter Willie Horton. 111 grounds to third. It'll be John Mayberry. 54 flies to left, and with 2 outs, it's Lou Piniella. 66 is a strikeout. My goodness. Halfway through the game, we bring in the reserves, but we haven't even gotten a second plate appearance yet for the last guys here.
You've got mail.
Perry will also leave. We had this crazy scenario in the American League that if they have a lead by the 6th inning, they might just skip right to their closers. Dale Murray, Rich Gossage, and Raleigh Fingers, relief 4, and relief 3. So if it's about sealing the deal halfway through the game. All right, bottom of the 5th. And it'll be Jerry Royce for the American League. Jerry was signed away from the Cardinals and Pirates who he played for, I think Houston, the Cardinals, and then the Pirates, and then eventually the Dodgers. But he was signed in free agency by Toronto. And he's undefeated for the Blue Jays this year, 5-0. And he's helping the Blue Jays as they lead the American League East. Surprisingly, shockingly. He'll face number 4 hitter, Johnny Bench. Here's the pitch to Johnny. 66, flies to center. Now you got Pop Stargell. 1-5 is a strikeout. I'm not showing cards because nothing's happening, folks. And Billy Williams. 5-10, catcher's card. Ellis is a 40-16, so there is your best chance of losing the perfect game here. But he gets a foul out. 15 up and down for the National League, and the American League is 1 for 16. 1 for 16. Top of the 6th. Briskly moving game. We are going in the 6th to Randy Jones. Thanks for showing pitchers cards. 75, 20-game winner with a 2.24 ERA and 285 innings. He has helped lead the Padres to a winning record at the All-Star break. One of the surprising stories. And it will be John Ellis in his second and final appearance. 47. Single 1-11 off Randy Jones. He gets a single. How about a pinch runner here? We will have, for the slow-footed Ellis, we will have Lenny Randle pinch run for him and go into the game somewhere, anywhere really. Lenny can play all the positions, second, third, and short. So he will run for Ellis, then we'll put a catcher in somebody else's spot. Number 9 hitter, Toby Hara. So Randall is a ace-stealer, but Johnny Bench has got a -4 arm, and you have Toby Hara. So you have to hold, but he's not going to steal. Here's the pitch to Toby Hara. 2-10 is a walk, and the 2 Texas Ranger players are on, first and second. Back up top, it'll be Mickey Rivers. A bunter. I think you want to drop it down in the 6th inning of a 1-0 All-Star game when your league is throwing a perfect game. So A bunting Mickey Rivers, only getting one more plate appearance, is going to bunt. And it's barely good. It rolls the 10, but he's an A bunter. So Mickey Rivers gets it over. Second and third, 1 out for the dangerous Rod Carew. You know he could squeeze it in. But Rod will swing away with the infield up. Here's the pitch to Rod Carew. 65 off Randy Jones' center C. It's too short. And with 2 outs, basically to give him a chance of being the game MVP, he probably already is with a solo shot. Second and third, 2 outs. It'll be George Brett. And here's the pitch to George. 3-6 is a fly ball to right field. All right, let's bring in some more changes. We'll put Lenny at third base in Brett's spot, and we'll put the catcher, Fran Healy, a Kansas City Royal, and a Kansas City Royal, put him in Brett's spot, yeah. Burrows will lead off the next inning. Bottom of the 6th. All right, Jerry Royce navigated his inning. Now we go to Mike Torres in the 6th. Surprise player. Leading the American League in ERA for starting pitching with a sub-2 ERA. Had suitcase, will travel, played for just about everybody you can name. Basically, he played for the entire American League East. Won 20 games for Baltimore. Won a World Series for the Yankees. And pitched to Bucky Denton in 78 for the Red Sox. So here is Mike Torres taking the mound here in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Dave Concepcion. 43. First baseman is John Mayberry. He's a 3E8. He's a 3E8. And he makes the play. No cheap way of losing the perfect game on defense. Number 8 hitter, Dave Roberts. 310 flies to left. And with 2 outs, it's the third baseman, Don Money. 49 off Torres. We have a hit, folks. Triple 1-5 base hit. It is a single for Don Money, and there goes your perfect game for the American League. Wow. 6 innings. All right, Money's at first. B. Steeler. He'll stay there. Fran Healy's got a -1 arm. And we don't want to run out of this. We have to let Reggie Smith bat for one more time. Reggie Smith with a tie run at first and 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Reggie Smith. 1-10 for Reggie's a double to right field. A 2-base hit into right field, and you're going to have Money's going to try scoring from first on the double. He is a 15-16-17 against the 0 arm of Burrows. Advance and score. He would have scored off of Reggie's -5 arm as well. So that ties the game with 2 outs in the 6th. And now you got Al Oliver. Danny Murtaugh will stick with his Pirate. Here's the pitch to Al Oliver. 1-5 is a grounder to the second. 1-1 after 6. Let's get some more players in this thing. The reserves in the National League are a little... Steve Braun, Lee Lacy, Greg Luzinski, Rusty Staub. Our outfield defense is pretty good here, but we need a new center fielder or first baseman. I could put Oliver in center. Yeah, let's just move him over into center field. Take Reggie Smith out. Actually, we won't make any defensive changes to the bottom of the inning. It's pointless. So let's go to the top of the 7th. 9 outs to go. Well, this is why we have extra pitchers. It's a 1-1 tie. So Andy Messersmith, the last starting pitcher on the roster of the National League, he's the Dodger. 14-game winner, 2.70 ERA, 250 innings. He will pitch the 7th inning. And he will face Jeff Burrows. Pitch to Burrows. 67 is a walk. Burrows walks. Now you got Willie Horton. Here's a who. Willie Horton. 34 is a 5-4-3 double play. Ouch. And John Mayberry. 1-9 is a K. Wow. All right, bottom of the 7th. We'll start getting into, actually we have one more starter for the American League. Steve Blass, the Boston representative, traded to Boston in a surprise move in the offseason. The Red Sox were looking for one big game pitcher for a 1-year contract. Pittsburgh said you can have him because he's only got 1 good year left. Basically, Pittsburgh had to decide between a decade of Bruce Kieson and 1 more good year out of Steve Blass, and they took a decade of Kieson instead. Blass 19-8, 248 ERA and 250 innings. And after this, it gets pretty bad. He loses control by 1973. So Steve Blass, don't lose control now for the American League. It's 1-1, and he will face some teammates in this inning, folks. How about this? Steve Blass, and you can the Detroit manager, I forget who the Detroit manager was, Ralph Houck? I don't know. Anyway, he is happy to have Blass on his side now since he lost to Blass in our World Series a year ago. And Blass will have to torment Clemente, Bench, and or Stargell here. Here's the pitch to Roberto Clemente. 59 rolls to second base. Johnny Bench. 37 is a base hit. And now you got Pop Stargell, Willie Stargell. 1-8 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Billy Williams. 5-10, catcher's X. Again, we have Fran Healy in there now. 3E9 catcher. And an E9 catcher makes a fluke error. Fran Healy. So it must have been a slow number in front of the plate, and he bobbled it and couldn't get the throw over to first in time. That is an error. Gosh, I hope that doesn't swing the All-Star game. So now you got 2 on and 2 outs. And you got the shortstop of the Cincinnati Reds, Dave Concepcion. 3-2, lines to second base. Nothing to see on these cards today, folks. Brett's homer was off the pitcher. The money single was off the pitcher. It was just Reggie Smith who had a hit off his own card. Now it'll be a battle of bullpens and a 1-1 affair. We could be here all night. In the 8th inning, they're going to have to go to an unknown quantity here. Let's show you this card. We're going to show you this card. This is Max Leon. He was taken in the expansion draft and extremely late into it. As a matter of fact, Las Vegas was going to go with Pat Jarvis as their closer without a legit closer on the staff anyway, and they just swapped Max Leon out instead. He was available. 4-7, 2.64 ERA and 75 innings and 74. 74 was a good year for Atlanta pitching, by the way. The only pitchers with lower ERAs on this team would have been Phil Niekro, Tom House, Buzz Capper, and then Max Leon would be the 4th, and Carl Morton would have been the 5th. So here is Max Leon in the top of the 8th, and he will deal with Lou Piniella. 2-9 to Lou is a pop to third base. Now batting for the first time will be Lenny Randle. 2-8 for Lenny Randle is a base hit. He has been on base twice, though he's only had 1 plate appearance. And now you've got number 9 hitter Toby Harrah, the shortstop. And by the way, before you ask, we don't got any other shortstops, so he's going to have to play the whole game. Toby Harrah, he's walked and struck out. Here's the pitch to Toby. 6-6 off Leon is a fly to left. And with 2 outs, back up top, and we're going to have a new. I think we'll go to. We're going to go to Mike Lum. Mike Lum will be the new. That Reggie Jackson injury kind of hurt the American League a little bit, but Mike Lum was Toronto's All-Star the last 2 years. The surprising Blue Jays are really playing good baseball the last couple seasons. And they selected Mike Lum away from Atlanta. Of course, Atlanta couldn't keep all those offensive players on their 73 squad. Lum's best year as an everyday player. Probably the only year he was an everyday player. 73, 294, 16 homers, and 550 plate appearances. Here's the pitch to Mike Lum. 56 off Leon, flies to center field. Wow. This is smelling like extra innings, folks. Smelling like extras. All right. We survived blasts without any injury, any qualms. Rudy May will come in. Rudy was on the Ohio Players expansion team. What we really like about Rudy is that he could be a lefty setup guy in the pen, a starter 7. He has actually in 72, 205 innings, the 2.94 ERA. So we said, it's probably not smart to put a guy with 200 innings in the bullpen, but he is the Ohio representative because Ohio has been pretty awful this year as a team, and he's been the only bright spot. So Rudy May will come in. Bottom of the 8th inning, and we will have our first substitute batting for Dave Roberts. It'll be Lee Lacy. He was picked on by the Mets. The Mets stole him away from the Dodgers. And Lee Lacy's having a heck of a nice year for the Mets with his 75 card, 314 average, and 300 at-bats, and can play all over the place. He's sort of like Lenny Randle, the utility player for each league. So Lee Lacy will lead off here, bottom of the 8th, against Rudy May. Here's the pitch. 2-6 for Lee Lacy is double, 1-6, and that's a double for the pinch hitter Lee Lacy. 2-6, double, 1-6, and he gets it. So now we have number 9 hitter Don Money, and actually, I think we're going to have a pinch hitter for him. Oh yeah, we're going to go right to Frank Robinson, pinch hitter extraordinaire, I guess. Frank Robinson. Let's take a look at Frank. He has been traded from Baltimore to Cleveland, from Cleveland to Portland, and he's won a World Series with Baltimore in the Carryover League, and he's taken Cleveland and Portland to the playoffs. He is the good luck charm. Sign Frank Robinson, you'll go to the playoffs. In 73, he was a California Angel with 30 home runs, mostly as a DH, hitting 266. but we have put him on the Portland expansion squad. So he will bat here against the lefty Rudy May. Or does the American League get fancy here? Do they do a swap themselves of pitchers since they have so many of them? I think they're going to do it. Yeah, Rudy May is getting pulled because they don't like the looks of Frank Robinson, and the American League is going to dip into the Dale Murray, Rich Gossage, Raleigh Fingers territory. This could be the first All-Star game where the relief pitchers pitch more innings than the starting pitchers. Murray's a relief 4, Gossage a relief 4, Fingers is a relief starter, relief 3, starter 5. We're going to go to Rich Gossage, the Chicago White Sox representative. Here in the 8th inning, Gossage has brought the White Sox back. They had problems with their bullpen a year ago, no longer. He is on the Cy Young list for innings pitched. He's a relief 4, and he's gone 4+ innings on several occasions, as has Dale Murray. But Gossage will come in 9-8, 184 ERA in 142 innings in 1975. We still have his rookie status for him because we did not bring him up with his 72, 73, or 74 cards. So Rich Gossage comes on in the 8th, and he will face Frank Robinson with a runner at second. Here's the pitch to Frank. 2-5 to Frank Robinson, single 1 to 19. He gets it on a 19. All right. So he batted for the third baseman. So now they're going to have a pinch runner for Frank Robinson, and that is going to be the new third baseman, Steve Braun. So Braun will go finish the game at third and run for Frank Robinson in the number 9 spot, which takes us back to the top. And it'll be Rusty Staub will be in the top spot now, which was where Reggie Smith was. And Rusty's going to have to play center because there's no other center. Oh, Oliver can play center if needed. Rusty Staub will bat with runners on the corners and nobody out. American League will bring the infield up, see if they can prevent this run from scoring. We need some strikeouts for Gossage for that to happen. Here's the pitch to Rusty Staub. 2-9 with the infield up is a liner to short. And now you got Al Oliver still in the game because Danny Murtaugh needs that versatility at center field and first base. And he's left-handed, so that bodes well against Gossage. A couple of former Pirates, Gossage and Oliver, were teammates once. So here's the pitch. The infield's up. Here's the pitch to Al Oliver. 3-6. Let's take a look at a card. Al Oliver, 1972, a .312 hitter, 12 home runs. In this year's carryover league, he's leading the National League in hitting. Danny Murtaugh's the manager of the National League for the world champion Pirates. And even after going 0 for 3 in 6 innings, they left him in the game for this moment. 3-6. Homer 1 to 16, and it's not gone. It's a double. Well, it's so much for the 3-run homer. That's a double. 1 run scores. Braun, he could run off of the lum arm. He will run. 14's going to be close. He should score, though. Braun's quick. He's a 14. No, he's thrown out on a 13. Mike Lum's got a -1 arm, making it 1 to 13, and he's thrown out on a 14 to 13 by 1. No +2. There was just 1 out. So only 1 RBI in that situation, scoring the pinch runner, or scoring Lacey. Pinch runner Braun is thrown out. Oliver's at second with 2 outs, and 1 more at bat for Roberto Clemente. 2-9 for Roberto is a grounder to the third. All right. Actually, Roberto will finish the game defensively in the outfield. We'll take some other guys out. We're gonna, just so we have all guys represented for the National League. Yeah, we're gonna put Ellie Rodriguez in for bench. and Luzinski in for the Stargell spot. And that will do it. Okay, 9th inning, here we go. And the National League will start the 9th inning with Steve Mingori. They might go lefty, righty, lefty here with a 1-run lead, 2-1 lead here. Steve Mingori will come on in the 9th and try and get the save, or begin to try and get the save. Great pickup for the Astros. Houston had some of the worst left-handed pitching a year ago. So when they made the Joe Morgan trade, they got pieces from different teams. They got players from Cincinnati, and there was a chain of teams that moved players forward, and they ended up with getting Steve Mingori out of the deal, along with Tommy Helms and a couple other guys. So Mingori comes on in the 9th for the American League. And let's see who is on the bench that still needs to go into the lineup for the American League. We got 3 guys. There we go. We'll just line them up right now. So here we go in the 9th inning. We're going to start with Carew and then a bunch of new hitters. So Rod Carew will lead off in the 9th. As Mickey Rivers' spot made the last out. Yeah, Lum made the final out in the last inning. So Mingori will face Rod Carew here in the 9th. Here's the pitch. 5-11's a strikeout. Now you got Fran Healy, a right-handed batter. And I think they're just gonna, they're gonna do it. Worst case, if House blows the game in the 9th, he has to keep pitching. He's the last guy left. All right, so he goes a third of an inning, and now Mike Marshall is going to come in, a righty. Marshall was traded to the Giants. So he was with the Expos in '72, was 14-8 with a 1.78 ERA. And the Giants stepped in and said, hey, wait a minute, we want him more than the Dodgers do. And so the Giants went out and got Marshall. He's been a great addition, a great closer here. He will face Fran Healy with 1 out in the 9th. Here's the pitch to Fran. 110 is a fly ball to left. And with 2 outs, it'll be Kenny Singleton batting for Burroughs in that same spot that Reggie Jackson was in. Singleton was technically an Expo in '73, but the Orioles made the deal for him to get Singleton earlier. Basically, the McNally-Singleton trade happened a little bit sooner so that their new teams could get better versions of their players. So here is the pitch to Ken Singleton. 1-5 is a walk. And the American League has life. Runner at first with 2 outs. And batting for Willie Horton, who's had a pretty bad day with a strikeout and a double play. It'll come down to an Oakland A player. It'll be Gene Tennis. Gene Tennis, 1973, 24 homers, a 258 average, 101 walks. Give him a World Series ring. He could play catcher, first base, and he also played second base when Oakland had all those injuries at the second base position. So Singleton's at first. Marshall, the righty, will pitch to Gene Tennis with Tom House available in the pen. Here's the pitch to Gene Tennis. 48 is a walk. Back-to-back walks with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Chris Chambliss in at first base for John Mayberry. And this will bring in Tom House. And listen to this hometown Atlanta team cheer their closer, Tom House. What's really curious about this game is that Mike Lum played for the Braves. Tom House played for the Braves. But Hank Aaron didn't make the team because he had a bad year. Phil Niekro had a bad year. All the traditional Braves aren't around. But Tom House had a brilliant 1974. 6-2, 192 ERA in 103 innings. And he will face the lone representative of the New York Yankees, Chris Chambliss. We were looking for a guy, and they all had terrible years. Mercer, a horrible slump. Thurman Munson, bad year. Greg Nettles, bad year. Even the pitching, Sparky Lau has all of 2 saves. So, Chris Chambliss is the player. 1975, he hits .304, 9 homers, 580 plate appearances. Lefties don't give him much problem. So he will bat here. Kenny Singleton's a decent base runner at second base. He's a 14. 2 on, 2 out, lead runner first. And here is the pitch to Chris Chambliss. 47 is a strikeout. Tom House strikes out Chris Chambliss to end the game. And the National League wins 2-1. Started slow, then it got National League put men on in each of the last 3 innings after going 0 for 15. Reggie Smith had the big RBI double there. They stranded runners in the 7th. Lacey starts the inning with a double. A single by Frank Robinson, a pinch runner at first, gets thrown out the plate after an Al Oliver double that scored Lacey. Hard to figure out an MVP in this game, folks. Really is. Reggie Smith, 1 for 3 RBI double. Oliver, probably Al Oliver, just because his hit won the game. It was a 1-out hit, but yeah. But anyway, it won the game in the 8th. And the guy got thrown out at the plate because Brett had the home run. American League could do nothing more. So the winning pitcher and the game was tied is going to be Max Leone. He came in the top of the 8th inning of a tie game. And the save goes to Tom House at the very end there. The loss, well, it was the guy who gave up the double to Lee Lacey. In the bottom of the 8th, that's Rudy May. Poor Rudy. Faced 1 batter, gave up a double, loses the All-Star game. So Rudy May takes the loss, though Gossage gave up the critical hits to Frank Robinson and Al Oliver in that inning. We'll just call Al Oliver the MVP, for lack of a better qualifier. And call that good in a well-pitched and defended game that featured a perfect game for one team through 17 batters. The National League wins the All-Star game 2-1. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you soon.